Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Chosen One prophecy and answer the question, was the Chosen One prophecy misread? So with the Acolyte having been finished, there are many people confused about what the Chosen One really is, never mind who it is.
I've encountered divergence in the Force.
Divergence, you say?
Located around a person?
A boy.
Just as I explained on a previous video, Anakin is the Chosen One who brought balance to the Force by bringing an end to the Sith. But let's look into that, because people try to say that Anakin was not the Chosen One because he became a Sith, bringing an imbalance to the Force by there being no prominent Jedi to balance the Sith. First off, the Force being balanced is not dependent on the number of Jedi versus Sith, or light users versus dark users. As explained earlier by Lucas, dark side users pursue the ultimate pleasure and the ultimate goal to be an enlightened soul, an idea separated from any faction or light versus dark, is to pursue joy. But I hear you typing, how does Anakin then bring balance to the Force if he became a dark side user who pursued pleasure at its utmost? Well, on Vader's final day, his son Luke Skywalker was able to give confidence to the ever so shallow Anakin that was inside of him for the entire time. So Anakin killed the first Sith in the room, that being himself. He had to destroy himself to recreate himself, not only in this scene, but the scene right after. He then destroys the second Sith in the room, Darth Sidious, Palpatine, the man responsible for seducing Anakin to the dark side, literally Satan himself. But by doing so, as mentioned before, he destroys his current Sith body, recreating his true image as a Jedi, truer than we had ever seen before that point, because he pursued the ultimate joy, and in that one moment fulfilled the prophecy of the Chosen One.
The Force?
And the Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
It's energy.
Created by all living things. It
Surrounds us.
binds the galaxy together.
Life creates it. Makes it grow.
Watch me and be mindful. Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
The core of the Force. I mean, you got the dark side, the light side. One is selfless, one is selfish.
Pleasure is purely self-centered. It's a selfish, self-centered emotion that's created by a self-centered motive of greed. Joy is compassion. Joy is giving yourself to somebody else or something else.
Without a shadow of doubt, Anakin is the only Chosen One. But what specifically is the prophecy trying to teach? To answer that, let's finally tackle the question of it being misread.
A prophecy that misread could have been.
Both Obi-Wan and Yoda misread the prophecy as long as even up to episode 6 before Luke confronts Vader.
Then I am a Jedi. Not yet. One thing remains. Vader. You must confront Vader. Then, only then, a Jedi will you be.
Why didn't you tell me? You told me Vader betrayed and murdered my father.
Your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force. He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. When that happened, the good man who was your father was destroyed.
The reason for this is the fact that during the events of the prequels, the Jedi of that era were extremely flawed in their ideals, to the point where they were clouded beyond true focus as a whole, which is something the Jedi are supposed to train to avoid.
He feared you might follow old Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade like your father did.
Because of their failings in multiple ways, they failed to sense Palpatine's dark side energy and failed to prevent Anakin from being seduced to the dark side. And even after all that, they still failed to see the good in Vader when Luke refuses to kill his own father. So that is to say, Yoda, Kenobi, and Windu believed that the Chosen One being Anakin was wrong because they could not fathom a Chosen One turning to the dark side. That is the only misreading of the Chosen One prophecy that occurs. The actual prophecy prophecy, bringing balance to the Force, and defeating the Sith, and that being Anakin Skywalker, is not misread or up for audience interpretation. I'm looking at you, Twitter users, but it is really important to create the distinction between balancing the Force and defeating the Sith, even though ironically, defeating the Sith is part of balancing the Force. But if you only defeat the Sith, you're not balancing the Force. You need to also defeat the Sith within you, similarly to how I explained before with Anakin needing to kill his own dark side. This is not a Star Wars original idea. This is the Star Wars version of a martial arts, and specifically the Budo concept, which is to tame the inner ego, as that is the only opponent. Tame the monkey mind per se, which I'll be going more in depth about that monkey part in the Rings Within Rings videos. This is a quote from the Dragon Ball manga where Muten Roshi explains this concept to Goku and Krillin. On the path of Budo, one does not strive for victory over an opponent. One strives to avoid defeat by one's own self. To do that, you must train yourselves on the foundation of what you have learned until now. This is the philosophy of the Jedi. They're centered around compassion, joy, and selflessness, while the Sith are the exact opposite. They're centered around possession, pleasure, and selfishness. This is why the idea of a gray Jedi sort of misses the whole point of what the Jedi and Sith believe. Once you allow yourself to indulge in your own selfish desires and your own ego, forever will it dominate your destiny. That's why Yoda says that. And that's why the Sith try to manipulate magic and fate all the time in Star Wars. So with everything taken into account that we've went over, it should be clear that the Jedi are supposed to read from the prophecy of the Chosen One, that one should not cling to desires even when dealing with a Sith, as that is exactly how a Sith is made.
I mean, it might sound too philosophical, but it's unacting, acting, or acting, unacting. Actually, you see, I mean, it's a combination of both. I mean, here it is the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not, if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both. So therefore, it is not only, so therefore it's not pure naturalness or unnaturalness. The ideal is unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness.
Yin yang, eh?
Right, man. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
You got to remember, this is one movie, and it's meant to be seen 1 through 6. So I think when you watch the actual movie in order, the story will become very clear that Anakin is the Chosen One. Even when Anakin turns into Darth Vader, he is still the Chosen One. The prophecy is that Anakin will bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. He becomes Darth Vader. Darth Vader does become the hero. Darth Vader does destroy the Sith, meaning himself and the Emperor. He does it because he is redeemed by his son.
Your insight serves you well. Bury your feelings deep down, Luke. They do you credit, but they could be made to serve the Emperor.
I'm sorry. Remember, a Jedi strength flows from the Force. But beware. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side are they. Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
No such thing, bad student, only bad teacher.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. While I take way too long to make my next video, you guys can check the description for more places to find me at. Hope you guys learned something new, and hope you leave your thoughts on the Chosen One prophecy down in the comments. See ya.